Hi, Chris Vincent with Data Shield, back again introducing part 2 of our Remote Workforce Roundtable. This time, I chatted with Greg Foss from VMware Carbon Black for a more endpoint-focused discussion. There's also some clips of our CISO Jeff Marshall mixed in. Take a look.
So, on the security side, we see all the typical kind of scam stuff that comes with any major crisis. Coronavirus-themed domains being registered and people trying to trick people and scam them out of money, like fake stimulus packages being sent to people and stuff like that, which is awful. People targeting people at their worst times, that's when attackers tend to strike, which is unfortunate.
Many of those organizations have never had an employee connect to a VPN that was not in IT, or no one ever did.
This has changed the whole industry, not just for us. I think us in tech are probably more well-versed and more ready to do this than a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there who don't have equipment at home from their employers, but they also can't go get their equipment from the office for whatever reason. So, they're in this weird kind of gray area where how do they do their work? And there's no cookie cutter way to do this. It's so different for every industry.
Keeping endpoints up to date and patched, secure, monitored, all remotely requires a kind of a shift in a lot of companies and organizations. Either one, they're using old technologies and it requires a lot of bandwidth with all those users connected, or two, they're using cloud options and they have to get all that data logged and managed and monitored from different pieces of software into one location.
If your company is dealing with sensitive information, like you're a bank or financial institution or healthcare or something like that, there's a lot of actual laws around how people are able to access this information and what devices they can use. The problem is it's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Do we want to be putting EDR agents on personal devices too? People, traditionally had their infrastructure set up to do things such as Windows event forwarding, where they have everything set up in such a way where all the events are designed to be sent in an enclosed intranet kind of environment. All of a sudden, all that's gone, right? You have people connecting in from wherever. They're using personal devices with probably not being on the VPN. So they might not even have a direct line of sight to connect and send data into their central logging infrastructure or their other endpoint solutions. When I was working for Logarithm, we were very much a come to the office kind of company. So a lot of our rules were set up in that way, right? We still had Carbon Black hosted on the internet though. So no matter what people did, the data would come in and we would see it there. Even if they're offline, the data gets stored, and then once you connect again, it's pushed up. Whatever type of agents your organization uses, once you have those on a personal asset or you're using a work asset for personal things, you have to really look at, whatever you do on this system, you got to make sure that everyone would be okay seeing what you've done. The big one, I would say, for all of these services that people are standing up for external access into their company, whether it's VPNs, whether they're using web services, or however they're kind of standing up these different controls, really need to look into enabling multi-factor authentication. Probably one of the most pervasive attacks that we see across all the malware families that we've looked at is credential stuffing. So you can go and buy, say, remote desktop access into a computer within a target organization that you want to break into. And the crazy part is these systems and credentials are often going for as little as $2 to $4. You'll see them take that email account, that password, and go try it across thousands of sites in the automated fashion. So multi-factor authentication, I would say, should be number one. Really look at locking down all these different services that are critical to your business. And then, looking at secure tunnels, making sure people have a way to securely access resources. So I think, once people get more into the swing of this and really start to get more comfortable working remotely, I think it's really going to open a lot of people's eyes to the fact that, it's okay to work from home. A lot of people are really understanding the need to see additional security measures because of the new normal of working from home. And I think all those controls should just be standard anyway, regardless of whether you're in the office, whether you're remote.
EDR is the biggest visibility gap in this area. getting the correct EDR solutions.
EDR is something where, I think that was a technology that kind of reshaped the industry, if you will. EDR kind of took this different approach to security and endpoint security in particular, in terms of just continually recording all process activity on the endpoint. So it's kind of like, putting a video camera and just seeing, I don't care if this is good or bad. We're just going to record all this data and have it stored so that later we can process it. We could use it for evidence.
So I think threat hunting and security operations and engineering management of these tools, the real big difference is they're just more and more in the cloud or remote.
Working from home definitely has its challenges, but it also has a few benefits.
Bye, everyone.